Psychiatry at the Mahatma Gandhi Medical College and Hospital in Mumbai. You're a beloved and distinguished Leadership Council member of our WPA section of Conflict Management and Resolution. Then you're a co-chairperson at the Technology and Psychiatry Subcommittee of the India Psychiatry Society. You are a philanthropy and entrepreneurship chairperson in the Indian Association of Private Psychiatry. You're a chairperson of the Art and Cultural Subcommittee in the Indian Psychiatry Society. You're an associate editor at the wonderful Global Mental Health and Psychiatry Review magazine, founded by our beloved and now died Professor Elliot Sorel. You're a review editor of the Frontiers in Psychiatry, Psychotherapy and Psychosomatic section. You're the founder of the Tech of Psych group, and some other awards and honors to mention the WPA Young Psychiatrist Fellowship, the WPA Fellowship Award, and the GSPN Fellowship Award, Young Investigator Award, and the South Asian Division Poster Bursary Prize. So thanks very much for being here. Let's go to your presentation, which should also be now visible, about of this webinar series about the technology, psychiatry and mental health. The floor is yours, dear Darpan.
Excuse me, can people mute themselves because there is some interference here? So let's mute ourselves except, of course, Darpan, okay?
Yes. Thank you very much, Fabian. May I begin the presentation now? Yes. The slides are visible. Am I audible, Fabian? Yes, okay. Right. So first of all, thank you very much, Dr. Fabian Krexner, for your kind and wonderful introduction and reading my introductory CV slide. And I'm very grateful to the WPA CMCR section for inviting me for this webinar. And I'm so happy to be the part of the first webinar of this year. And we begin today, 29 January 2025. 3 to 4 p.m. CET online, and the topic for my presentation is technology, psychiatry, and mental health. Next slide. I'd like to begin the presentation by reading a small poem that I have written, and it has got published and released last week at the annual national conference of the Indian Psychiatric Society. It's published in the Indian Psychiatry Society newsletter. The title of the poem is Tech-Driven Vision. So, new horizons to see, new horizons to be, change is wow, change is now, the future is near, the future is here, novel vistas towards the find, novel vistas towards the mind, a journey towards innovation, a journey towards determination. Serendipity shall find its way, serendipity shall find you one day. What you seek is seeking you, what you seek is near to. Explore the universe for that role, explore the universe for that goal. You will succeed one fine day, you will succeed towards the way. Thank you, and proceed to the next slide. Technology has relevant scope and applications in psychiatry and mental health. Next slide. The aim of this webinar is to enhance awareness on technology, psychiatry, and mental health. Next slide. The objectives of this presentation is to share insights on the scope of technology across diagnosis, prognosis, and treatment in psychiatry and mental health, to gain perspectives on the applications of technology across medical education, training, clinical care research, and service development in psychiatry and mental health. Next slide. Some more objectives of this presentation are to develop an understanding into innovative aspects of technology and neurosciences, digital psychiatry, telemental health, digital clinic, digital psychopharmacology, digital assessment, digital psychotherapy, machine learning AI, natural language processing, speech technology, pattern recognition, algorithmic diagnosis, effective computing, imaging technology, social media technology, digital phenotyping, ecological momentary assessment, and precision psychiatry. To also highlight advances in technology and psychiatry across neuropsychiatry, child psychiatry, perinatal psychiatry, geriatric psychiatry, and consultation-led in psychiatry. Next slide. Another important objective of this presentation is to discuss relevant ethical and regulatory frameworks in technology, psychiatry, and mental health, and to explore opportunities for leadership, innovation, networking, and collaboration in technology, psychiatry, and mental health. Next slide. The scope technology across diagnosis, prognosis, and treatment in psychiatry and mental health, Sanjay et al. 2023 highlight that data acquisition and processing, feature extraction and characterization, psychiatric disorder classification, potential biomarker detection, real-time monitoring, and interventions in psychiatric disorders fall within the scope of technology. Early detection, diagnosis, prognosis, and treatment of specific psychiatric disorders, including depression, schizophrenia, autism, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, addiction, sleep disorders, and Alzheimer's disease, are some of the psychiatric disorders where technology has already begun playing a very important role. Next slide. The applications of technology. There is an urgent need for AI to help identify high-risk individuals and provide interventions to prevent and treat mental illnesses. Successful examples of AI, which has been highlighted in the article by Lee E. et al. In 2021, which discusses about AI's use with electronic health records, brain imaging, sensor-based monitoring systems, and social media platforms to predict, classify, or subgroup mental illness, as well as very vital issues such as suicidality. Next slide. Applications of technology across medical education. Nouri S. et al. 2024 highlight that psychiatric trainees receive limited or no formal education on digital psychiatry. Feasibility of implementing a digital psychiatry curriculum for residents in multiple levels of training, an opportunity to increase learner confidence in the appraisal and clinical use of digital mental health apps through the use of formal curriculum is very much needed. Next slide. The applications of technology across clinical care, Torus J. et al. 2021 highlight that digital health technologies offer the potential of accessible and scalable interventions that can augment traditional care. Further efforts towards strengthening implementation, addressing the key issues at the patient, provider, and policy levels are needed. Next slide. Saris J. et al. In 2022 have highlighted innovations in the concept of disruptive innovation in psychiatry. So there's significant promise exists via the provision of potentially more innovative therapeutic digital interventions, which can be further advanced by individualization of treatments using computational technology, which could include quantum computing, machine learning, AI, and genomics. Next slide. The applications of technology exist across service development. Stern E. et al. 2023 highlight that there are three important areas where technology can help in service development: assist and improve current treatment care in psychiatry, develop new treatment modalities, and help publish, share, disseminate information and advance scientific and medical knowledge in technology and service development in psychiatry. Next slide. Shen Z. et al. 2024 have highlighted that technology can play a great role in neuroscience, and translating AI techniques into the realm of cognitive neuroscience holds promises for significant breakthroughs in our ability to probe the intrinsic mechanisms of the brain. Next slide. Torus J. et al. In 2021 also highlight that digital health technologies offer the potential of scalable, accessible and scalable interventions to augment traditional care. Challenges and opportunities exist towards real-world implementation. Next slide. Coming to telemental health, Sugarman D.E. et al. In 2023 highlight that there are comprehensive clinical guidelines from various mental health organizations which are now available. These guidelines are focused on 5 content themes: legal and regulatory issues, clinical considerations, standard operating procedures and protocols, technical requirements, and consideration of specific populations and settings. Next slide. Raucio Recupero and et al. In their article in 2021 have highlighted a concept of a digital clinic. The digital clinic focuses on expanding emotional awareness, symptom tracking, medication management, and how a digital clinic can be used to provide remote mental health care to a diverse group of people. Digital technologies like smartphone apps can diversify methods of clinical engagement, assist with collecting health metrics in a safe and ethical manner, and promote person-centered care. Next slide. Coming to digital assessment, Martin Key N.A., Spardo B.E., Barker E.J. et al. In 2022. Just a minute. Highlight that digital technologies have a vital role in the future of mental health care. There is a need for a comprehensive appraisal of the current state and validity, that is screening or diagnostic accuracy of digital mental health assessments. Next slide. There's also research in the domain of digital psychotherapy. Waitman M. et al. In 2020 have highlighted that patients in regional, rural, and remote communities experience difficulties accessing mental health treatments in a timely manner. Development of digital psychotherapy provides an opportunity to address this healthcare gap. Next slide. Del Casale A. et al. In their article in 2023 have brought out the concept of machine learning and precision psychiatry. So they've linked concepts of pharmacogenomics, machine learning, and precision psychiatry, and highlight that even though machine learning and pharmacogenomics are not part of everyday clinical practice yet, but it is positioned that they will gain a unique role in the next future in improving personalized treatments in precision psychiatry. Next. Coming to an important paper by Briganti G. Artificial Intelligence in Psychiatry, that there's a potential of AI to enhance our understanding of psychiatric conditions, how they can improve patient care. AI can improve patient care and drive innovation in psychiatric research. However, there is a need for robust ethical frameworks and stringent data protection measures to ensure the responsible, effective, and ethical use of AI in psychiatry. Next slide. La Giaz A. et al. Highlight that natural language processing can be used in psychiatry and mental health. This is, along with machine learning and NLP techniques, we can understand more about the diagnosis and prognosis of various psychiatric disorders. It offers multiple perspectives in mental health research and considered as tools to support clinical practice. Next slide. Speech technology in psychiatry. There is a Yoshnikke et al. In 20, yes, I can see it better. Yoshnikke et al. Have highlighted that there is a possibility of early and simple screening for patients with minimal cognitive impairment using prosodic and acoustic features from everyday conversation with the humanoid robot. This can have a same level of accuracy as the mental status mini MMSC. Next slide. Now, coming to the area of pattern recognition, so a lot of psychiatry that we are trained in, taking history, conducting MSCs, and then using the frameworks of ICD and DSM to make a psychiatric diagnosis, we use our inherent learning systems, our understanding to kind of pick up patterns and see what fits the pattern, what does not fit the pattern, and that goes about a lot of hypothetical deductive kind of reasoning towards us to make a diagnosis and assessment of the patient with psychiatric disorders. So how artificial intelligence and machine learning techniques and these pattern recognition methods can be applied to neuroimaging, and these can characterize disease related alterations in brain structure and function and help identify phenotypes, which can, for example, help translate into clinical and early diagnosis. Next slide. Imaging technology. McFadden J. et al. In 2023 have looked at how high temporal resolution imaging technology, particularly magnetoencephalography, often in conjunction with sophisticated machine learning decoding techniques, could promise to provide novel insights into the spatio-temporal dynamics of cognitive phenomena, including domains relevant to psychiatric illnesses such as reward, avoidance learning, memory, and planning. Next slide. Coming to a very important concept of digital phenotyping, Mauch, Bach et al. In 2022 have come out with the concept that digital phenotyping is based on the idea of collecting real-time markers of human behavior in order to determine the digital signature of a pathology. I would reframe that Mauch, Bach et al. Have in 2022 highlighted improving clinical decision making in psychiatry. Implementation of digital phenotyping could mitigate the influence of patients and practitioners, including individual cognitive biases. This is the concept that they have highlighted, linking digital phenotyping, and there may be many other contributors and who have also built up on the concept of digital phenotyping. Digital phenotyping is based on the idea of collecting real-time markers of human behavior in order to determine the digital signature of a pathology. There's also a lot of relevant work which is done by the Digital Psychiatry Lab at Harvard Medical College, and colleagues such as Torus J. et al. They have also done a lot of work in digital psychiatry and the concepts of digital phenotyping. So digital phenotyping talks about assumption that behaviors are quantifiable from data extracted and analyzed through collecting tools, smartphone, digital sensors, and wearable devices to deduce an ease semiology of the patient's evolution of symptoms, and then see how this data could help to understand how patients and practitioners can be helped in better clinical decision making towards enhanced clinical care for the patient. Next. Ecological momentary assessment. Yim Esri et al. Have highlighted that a smartphone can be used, or a digital device can be helpful in supplementing the assessment in psychiatric disorders and treatment. Repeated sampling of an individual's symptoms within their natural environment is what basically is the concept of ecological momentary assessment. It has potential of usage in clinical settings and drug development, emphasizes the importance for regulation of applications, and provides insights into future directions. Next slide. Technology and Precision Psychiatry, Van Dellen E. et al. 2024, mentioned that precision psychiatry is an emerging field that aims to provide individualized approaches to mental health care and reduce uncertainty about prognosis and treatment response. Multivariate analysis and machine learning are used to create outcome prediction models based on clinical data such as demographics, symptom assessment, genetic information, and brain imaging. Next slide. Coming to an important domain of exploring neuropsychiatry through the lens of technology. This is an interesting article by Medina Rodriguez JC 2023 that as neuropsychiatry evolves, it necessitates an integrative approach in psychiatry, mental health, and neurology. Recent advances in neuroscience, propelled by technologies like artificial intelligence and advanced neuroimaging, reshape our comprehension of brain behavior interactions, offering potential biomarkers and comprehensive treatment approaches in neuropsychiatry. Next, coming to the super specialties and the role of technology and digital psychiatry, Nisensen M. et al. In the Harvard Review Psychiatry 2021 have highlighted a concept that digital phenotyping provides opportunities to study child and adolescent psychiatry from a novel perspective. Diverse ways in which objective data can augment naturalistic self-report methods in child and adolescent psychiatry to allow for more objective, ecologically valid, and temporally resolved conclusions. Next. Coming to technology in perinatal psychiatry, Novik AM et al. In 2022 have highlighted that wearable technology, electronic consultation, virtual and augmented reality, internet-based cognitive behavior therapy, and predictive analysis using machine learning can help to support perinatal mental health and perinatal psychiatry. An increased use of technology has the potential to address barriers which are faced in perinatal psychiatry by facilitating modes of communication, data collection, and enhancing patient experience. Next slide. Moliari Olate M. et al. In 2023 highlight the scope of technology across geriatric psychiatry, and digital health technologies can potentially assist in reaching the full capacity of comprehensive geriatric assessments, improve communication on patients' medical and treatment plan formula information, and health decision making could be augmented with technology in geriatric psychiatry. Next. Coming to technology and consultation liaison psychiatry models, there's an interesting paper by Shai with C et al., which is talked about a centralized telepsychiatry consult service model in a multi-hospital metropolitan healthcare system. What they highlight is that a range of psychiatric conditions commonly encountered by consultation liaison psychiatry services were diagnosed and treated through the teleconferencing modality, and the feasibility of a centralized telepsychiatry hub to improve delivery of psychiatry consultation within a multi-hospital system with an overall reduction in patient wait time. So they have made an innovative hub model and have published their work, and maybe a lot of other hospitals and healthcare service providers could study the model and see how technology can help bridge the gap, and we can develop some innovations in consultation liaison psychiatry. Next slide. Now coming to the most vital aspects, I'm not able to see the bottom of the screen. I think it's Jodio Kovo et al. Okay, highlight that establishing binding ethical guidelines and legal regulations assist stakeholders in formulating effective strategies and methodologies to navigate the complex landscape. Ensuring adherence to the highest ethical standards and promoting patient welfare integrate the benefits of telemedicine with proactive measures to address emerging ethical challenges grounded in a well-prepared and respected ethical framework. This is a very vital aspect in technology and psychiatry, that ethical and regulatory frameworks in technology, psychiatry, and mental health are very much needed. Next. Now, coming to this interesting slide, which talks about leadership, innovation, networking, and collaboration in technology, psychiatry, and mental health. So, this is how we have all come together, and one of the aims and objectives of conflict management and conflict resolution section, and in the thought line of the founder of our section, Professor Elliot Sorrell, late, and it's very sad, and he's no longer with us, but I'm sure his vision continues and his light continues to guide so many of us across the world. So, taking on some inspiration from him as well, that and one of the fundamental reasons and also within the aims of the WPA is that we have to network and collaborate. And as we are also from the Leadership Council of CMCR, I have thought about these 4 points as link: leadership, take the lead; innovation, think novel, think original; networking, we are in it together; collaboration. Together we can. And coming to the last slide of the presentation, next. So this is another interesting concept of a poem that I had submitted, and it has been published in the Indian Psychiatric Society newsletter issue 2, June September 24. It's single word poetry, and it's on technology and psychiatry. It's a novel concept. They're just words in a poetry. So I will read the poetry. Technology and psychiatry: innovate, network, collaborate, read, think, lead, creative, unique, transformative, applicable, relevant, feasible, impactful, scalable, meaningful, technology and psychiatry. Next slide, please. So thank you very much for listening to me, and I thank all of you all for being a great audience, and I'm very grateful to Fabian for screen sharing of the slides and Victor for the assistance, and I'm thankful to the WPA CMCR section for giving me this opportunity to be part and speak in the first webinar on a concept which is so close to my heart on technology, psychiatry, and mental health. I'm just so grateful to all of you all, the executive of Executive Council of World Psychiatric Association, and our section, Dr. Ruta, the chairperson, Dr. Enrico Suardi, co-chairperson, our convener of the section, Fabian Krexner, and all the leadership council members, including Margaret Poggiare and the ex-member Victor Pereira Sanchez, and other members who are attending. Thank you so much and Jibril, I think Jibril is there as well, who's also leadership council member, and I'm so thankful that you supported this idea and given me a part to do this presentation. Thank you.
Okay. I was waiting for Fabian to take over. Thank you, Dapan, for that very insightful presentation. It was very loaded and very informative. And thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing this. It was. I also realized that the notice. I don't know about the notice, but the time. As at Wednesday, you were still deliberating on how to get things done, and that was very rich. Well done, kudos. I can't help but acknowledge Victor's baby. I've been grinning from ear to ear from here. So a shout out to this youngest member of this meeting. Yeah. Okay, so if you have questions, we are not a very large group, so we can just signify by raising our hands. And while we are waiting for questions from attendees, I have just a few to kickstart it. And I was just wondering, Dapan, what your thoughts are concerning, you did mention it, but I'm just wondering what your thoughts are concerning ethical considerations, really. You mentioned it, but let's go in deeper. When we talk about precision psychiatry, as a result of advancement in technology, what are the ethical considerations and challenges that you think one may face in this, particularly in low and middle income countries? That's one, because I know that in my part of the world, people are still very hesitant, and so this is their data. How do we ensure that there is privacy? How is there privacy respected, security, and getting consent? And also how the diagnostic criteria accuracy, considering the limitations within our settings. So that's one. Then one thing I would have loved to see you mention, I was really looking forward to it, maybe not just the controversies, but the challenges, the challenges that people like me will face in embracing technology and to keep up in resource constraint settings. So those are my few thoughts right now, and others can join you later. But good, a great presentation, well done.
Thank you very much, Margaret, for moderating the discussion and your comments and contributions. I do agree with you that there are significant challenges, and I also would like to highlight that the Indian Psychiatric Society has a technology and psychiatry subcommittee, and it began during the pandemic. That because with COVID-19 pandemic, there was technology had to be, was the could bridge the gap, and there were a lot of psychiatrists who were not trained in technology. So the task force was formed, and it began training members at the beginning, just at the start of the pandemic, to train them in different modalities of digital psychiatry, e-prescription, teleconsultation, telemental health, and help provide care to the patients in India. And a lot of institutes came up with the Indian Psychiatric Society had its own guidelines, the telepsychiatry guidelines, and we also had the telemedicine guidelines released at the start of the pandemic by the Ministry of Health and Welfare in India. And over the 5 years we've been conducting from the Indian Psychiatric Society, I have put the seed idea and conducted yearly annual workshops and symposiums on technology and psychiatry, so that there can be a better awareness and skill enhancement workshops we conduct at the annual conference, which helps the psychiatrist to kind of get a perspective, get training, and be open to the experience. And then there will be limitations of the technology is not available or net is not available, but at least people, we have made a beginning, and we've this year reached a level of our 5th national annual symposium of the Indian Psychiatric Society. And this year we just conducted a workshop on technology and precision psychiatry, which was very well appreciated by the members of the Indian Psychiatric Society. So one of the things is upskilling and training, which could help bridge the challenges that psychiatrists can and mental health professionals can face in technology. Yes, thank you.
You're muted. I agree with you. Yes, upskilling and training. Yes, even in the best of clients, they're still learning and they're getting used. They're building up from the information they have, and they're learning from. The thing is, for me, I think the thing is for one to just take the leap and not look at the challenges or the problems and run with that, and we'll get better. We can't keep saying we're from LMICs or we're from resource constraint settings and then we're not going to act and get better. I agree with you. Any questions? Okay, so yeah. Any questions, Victor? You want to share something? Oh, sorry, J.I. Please go ahead. Unmute yourself and ask. You can ask.
Has raised a hand. Yes. You need to unmute yourself.
Just unmute and then go ahead and ask the question. Fabian, can you help unmute him if it's possible from your end?
Fabian, you might have to unmute.
I have a slow
Fabian,
connection. I
you
hear
would like
you.
to ask a
I
question.
have a slow connection because it's recording, and I tried.
Oh, can you type this?
I tried to unmute, but normally persons should be able to unmute themselves. Maybe you can type your question. Is there a possibility? You can type it. Unmuting doesn't work. Okay. This is a surprise webinar call. I see. So, but we are. It's fitting to the topic, Darpan, isn't it? To technology, psychiatry, and mental health. Our stress resilience testing live here. So let's look what
I'm
he's
very
typing.
happy to welcome another delegate in the webinar, and welcome to the very baby delegate. Hello, hi baby delegate. Yes, Victor, congratulations. And I'm so happy that the baby delegate attended my webinar. What's the name? Oh, you need to unmute yourself, Victor. Unmute yourself.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, his name is Rex. R-E-X.
Hello, Rex.
Rex.
Rex, hi.
He's very happy he enjoyed your presentation.
Wow, Rex. Thank you for attending my presentation.
Yeah,
Baby Rex, thank you. Congratulations, Victor. Thank you so much.
thank you. When he sleeps means that he's enjoying, so he enjoyed your presentation.
Okay. Jai, can I go ahead and read your question?
Yes.
Yes.
Dapan, so Jai is a second-year resident in psychiatry, and he's asking, I think that's part of his questions, that he's asking, is he the last generation that is trained without AI assistance? What do you have to say to that? Is he the last, his second-year resident, is he the last generation that is trained without?
Okay, that's a very, very interesting question. And interesting questions do not have simple answers. They might have complexities around them. So, are you the last generation who is working without an AI assistant? No answers. But what I think that there's already a lot of AI that has come into undergraduate research, and a lot of researchers have started using AI for research. And but we do not know how much of technology in AI and how much of original research in AI. How do you link that? So the thing is that there is a lot of medical education guidelines for undergraduate medical education, which highlights that people should be encouraged to incorporate technology because the current generation uses lots of apps and they're digitally savvy. So the next medical doctors and UG students who will be trained, they will be very, very technology savvy, and because that's how they've been growing. And psychiatry training, there are about 3 to 4 papers which highlight that psychiatry residents during the pandemic were also trained in some areas of digital psychiatry, and they were providing services along with their consultants in supervised training or setting to setting independent training or supervised training. But that's how they just began, because the pandemic came in and some institutions were working on technology models with the consultants or research that was happening. But in pandemic, a lot of organizations came out with guidelines to help the people. So a lot of residents kind of informally just got trained and were providing care. But now that the pandemic, through the early years of pandemic, they are over. A lot of papers have now come up which say that digital psychiatry is very important, and there is not any formal training, neither in a curriculum of in the PG textbook. So some research work articles have just started coming out, but the AI boom has also been in these last 3 to 5 years. So what is suggested is that at the current domain, technology should augment and support routine clinical training. In future, when will it become independent, or a lot of unregulated apps which are anything which is regulated training through protocol? It would be better that the psychiatry residents future would be more better trained to think of innovative therapeutics, innovative research, and that's how AI will help them to get the perspective. But the main training, technology and AI at this juncture, is most of it is used to augment, assist, and help. In future, whether it will be playing an independent role is, as time will come, we will be able to think and discuss about that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Dapan, thank you for that very insightful response. Yeah, and just a teaser, is AI making us smarter or less smart? Those are some people's questions. So on that note, I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you very much.
Are you able to see me?
We can see you.
Can you see me? I'm not able to find myself on the. I think
You can
maybe a
see, I can see you clearly. I can see.
network problem. Yes.
Victor, can you see her? I can see her.
Yes, I can
Victor
see
can
you.
see you too. Yeah, Victor can see you.
Hear you clearly.
Okay.
Yeah, so on that note, I want to say thank you everyone for coming. Victor, do you want to say something like just share a closing remark and allow Rex say something? Maybe.
Sure. Thank you very much for this presentation. And there's a lot of hype about AI and technology, but it's also the reality. I think most of us were born in the late 80s or 80s, 90s. I was born in the 90s. So I grew up like with MS2, MS-DOS, but then with the boom of the internet. But things have changed rapidly and are changing rapidly. My baby was born at the height at the height of AI, DeepSeek, right? It's been a boom these days. So I don't know what is the future for for these new generations. But I would say, like, as a psychiatrist, I think we are not. We'll always be very important in the sense that we are doctors that bring the most human part to medicine, and I think that cannot be replaced. But at the same time, we have to be to ride the wave, right, and be smart, learn about technology as much as we can, and use it to scale and to